Aaron Pico, what do we do now? Guys, I've known this young man since he was 15, and I knew him at a distance. I was a fan. I don't believe I met him until he was 17. But we fought on the same card together when he was 18. His debut into the sport was at Madison Square Garden, sold-out arena on pay-per-view. They put him on the pay-per-view portion. We have never had a prospect come in to the sport with the expectations that were put on Aaron Pico. It's never happened before. Never. It was unbelievable at that time. And as you look back, you go, yeah, that's a lot to put on anybody. They've never done that to a boxer. Take a boxer, maybe he was even the Olympic champion, like a really great gold medal spot. They never stuck him in Madison Square Garden in a sold-out arena on the televised portion. I'm just saying, like, this was a very unusual situation, but so much was put on him. And because I know him so well, I just want to share with you, it was a hard fight to watch. And Aaron was doing everything right. Aaron got takedown. Got another takedown. He was ripping those shots to the body. Did you see that? I mean, he had this immense power. How good is Lerone Murphy? That's the real question. Aaron Pico went into this fight not ranked. So imagine how hard it's going to be to get a ranking now. Just for example, he's got all the spotlight on him. Co-main event is a very beautiful spot, right? You've got this main card, but that main card has two separate things. Like the PR marketing and the dollars that automatically go into anybody in a co-main event or main event role is significantly different from every other fighter that you see on a main card. Significantly different once it gets named in the war room who's main and co-main. That activates other departments within the UFC. So I'm sharing with you, this is a really great spot for Pico. Can you bring him back to pay-per-view? Do you believe that his next fight will be on pay-per-view? He is now 0-1. How do you sell that to the rest of the roster? Just for example. So this is a massive blow. But it could look very different over time. Because one thing that we don't know is how good is Lerone Murphy. We understand what a great performance that was. And then all of a sudden you start looking at his record. Turns out some bitch has never lost. 19 fights, he's never been beat. He's number 3 in the UFC right now for active win streaks. I mean, all of a sudden you start looking around going, wait a minute. This guy should be fighting Volkanovski. Oh, by the way, guess who agrees with that statement? Volkanovski. Volkanovski's got a little YouTube channel. And he came out and he said it. So, I was going in this direction, but I see Lerone Murphy. He deserves it. Let's get in there with Lerone Murphy. And Volkanovski is unlike any other champion that we've had. Other champions will come out and say the same thing as Volkanovski, but they certainly don't mean it. They will come out and say, this is who deserves it, and I'm going to give him the opportunity. This is the hardest fight for me. I'm going to give him the opportunity. Other guys say that about the third hardest guy. They come out and they build the third hardest guy to not have to fight the toughest guy. That's the sport. Get the biggest check you can against the easiest opponent. Volkanovski actually wants to fight the hardest guy. There is no leader of a division with the leadership skills of Volkanovski. He truly tries to raise everybody in that category. And he now believes that Lerone Murphy deserves it and is the hardest challenge. He's recognized the win streak. And I'm only sharing with you, this is a very somber experience for Aaron Pico fans because we do have the reality of what now? And there's times in your life where you got to start at the beginning, you've got to reclimb, and Aaron's a lot younger than you will think he is based on his level of experience. Like there is an opportunity to do this, but what do you do now? This is a hard spot. Do you take a big long break? Daniel Cormier has said publicly he doesn't want to see Aaron Pico fight until 2026. I despise breaks. I don't understand them. I grew up through tournaments. I saw plenty of guys get hurt, get concussions, get knocked out. And I realize that's not celebrated anymore. I'm just sharing with you, I saw plenty of it, and they got on the mat 40 minutes later. It's a tournament. And then if that one went well, 40 minutes later, they're on the mat again and again and again. I'm just sharing with you, I don't understand this break business. A break, it's already been 2 days. Is that not a long enough break for you? So it's just differing views on it. And things do change when you've been knocked out. But should they? Like if you got knocked out and you don't want to get knocked out again, do you think a break is going to help? Why is that? I mean, why do people come to that determination? And while Aaron is now unranked at 0-1, while that's true, what happens if Lerone Murphy beats Volkanovski? Can we at least agree we would all look at Lerone Murphy very different, not just Aaron Pico, everybody whose ass he whipped? That's the benefit that we gave to all the guys that lost to Ilia Topuria. Just for example, some of those guys were dismissed. Oh, he looked bad. Oh, he got knocked out in the first round. But then you see it's Ilia Topuria. Oh my God, we just didn't know this guy was this good. We didn't know he could be an undefeated two-division BMF champion. We just didn't know. So, yes, I think that is possible. I think if Lerone Murphy just gets the fight, if he just becomes the number one contender, I think that Aaron, on his debut, who is doing fine in the match, I think it will start to look a little bit different. One thing with Aaron, if I had a wish, and the way the wrestling community works, anybody that did that same sport but is older, you have to listen to. It's just called respect, but we all follow the same policy. So I offer my opinion, attempting to be helpful, to Aaron, which Aaron Pico might be the hardest worker in the sport. He probably is. But he for sure is right up there. And I'm just saying, could you imagine being the hardest working sport and the absolute hardest sport that there is? Tremendous compliment. I don't feel that Aaron is working hard enough on the things he's going to see in the octagon. I would argue that for any athlete, if you're going to exert an energy and the energy you're exerting doesn't look like what you're going to be doing in the octagon, I don't get it. As a supplement, fine. 2 or 3 times a week, fine. MMA every day in the afternoon. Couple times a week, MMA for your morning workout. 2-3 times a week. And Aaron is one of these guys where he could be driving to MMA practice and he sees a mountain. And the passenger in his car says, "Whew, sure be hard to run up that mountain. You know, nobody has." Aaron would say, "Nobody has. I'll do it right now." He'd pull over, miss MMA practice, he'd run up the mountain. He would have worked harder to get up that mountain than anybody did at MMA practice. He would have worked harder. But there's not a mountain in the octagon. Do you see the difference? Like there's times in life when you got to whip somebody's ass. There's times in life when you got to score points. I see guys go into wrestling matches and try to make it like a bar fight. Like somebody told him you got to be intense. You're like every high schooler that steps into college like gets the same talk about this intensity. It's like a brawl, and you got and some guys will misinterpret. And they'll actually go and brawl. Can't figure out why they're out of the tournament. Well, you're out of the tournament because this is not a brawl. You have to score points. I just want to bring that to you because it's a misconception that is happening to many. And working hard is awesome. And anyone that says I'm going to work smarter, not harder, is the foundation of a loser. You have got to work hard. I want Aaron to work just as hard. I want him to burn just as many calories. I want his heart rate to get up just as high as it is. I just want him to do that with things that look like what he's going to see in the octagon.